Hello guys, welcome to another video of English grammar. In today's video, we are going to talk about the essay writing samples. Students, you must be knowing that in the previous video, we have already discussed about the basics of the essay writing, the precise writing and the letter writing. So essay part of explanation was already clear to you in that video. All right. Now it's time that we should go with the understanding with an example. Okay, so what all that we discussed in the in the previous video regarding the how to write an essays and what you have to avoid in an essay, how you have to divide your essays, basically all that we have already studied. Okay, now it's time to do things practically, and it will be much easier for you if I take up a sample, an example of an essay, and then relate those explanative points in those sample essays. Okay, so now let's begin. First of all, let's see. I have just started with the structure of an essay. So first of all, while writing, you should keep in mind that before you start write, there are certain points that you have to remember. All right, student, there are certain points that you need to remember. Okay, first is that keep length within the word limit. Yes, that's very, very important, that you have to keep the length of the essay according to the word limit that has been given to you. Now, generally in the exam, they give you certain limit that you have to write an essay approximately 250 words, or they sometimes tell you that you have to write an essay approximately 300 words, or like the length varies according to the examination. It can be 400 to 500 words, but not less, not more than that. It will be varying from 300 or 250 to 500. So you have to make sure that you have to be within the word limit. You should not exceed it too much, neither it should not be very short. The second point is that how will you correlate the facts of the essay logically? Yes, that's very important. You have to, relate your ideas in a logical manner. As we have already discussed this thing very clearly, that for example, you have to write certain points, then you should know a logical order of writing those points. Okay, you should not write your points like the point which has to come second, you wrote it first. It should not be. Okay, if your idea is very clear in your mind, then your clarity should be very visible in your essays as well. Okay, now next is of course the command over the language and a good vocabulary range. That's most important, because the good vocabulary you will use, the more it will fetch you marks. Okay, now with good vocabulary over here, it does not mean that you have to use very complex words, and I've already told you, try to use the words which are not very simple and not very complex, but yes, there should be advanced English words that will give you extra marks. The examiner will understand that you have a great knowledge of the English sentences. Now, next is usually a word limit is written in an essay that we have already discussed. It will vary from 300 to 500 words. Now, basically, your essay will split into three parts: introduction, and a well-built body, and a conclusion. Okay, that we have already told you that an essay is divided into three categories. Basically, the introduction part and the body part, that is your body paragraphs. Okay, and the effective conclusion of the words. Okay, now with effective conclusion, what do we mean with effective conclusion? It's told to us that your ideas of the whole essay should come up in the end properly. Okay, it should not be that your idea is not coming clear at the end. This should not be the case. Okay, students. And paragraphs, yes, body paragraphs are also very important. Now body paragraphs can be 2 to 3 body paragraphs depending upon the length of your essay or your word limit provided by the examiner. Now today we are taking an example of a very common type of essay that has appeared in the previous year papers as well. The topic is demonetization. Basically, the topic can come as it is, like write an essay on the topic demonetization, or in certain cases they can tell you that write an essay on the topic whether demonetization has served its purpose, or what were the positive and negative effects of demonetization. These are certain examples. They can frame the sentence, they can frame the essays into different types. Okay, it's not that this is going to appear in the similar manner. It may change, but we are studying and we are preparing for exam, so we are not aware of the statement, we are not aware of the exact line that will be given by the examiner, but at least we should have an idea of the topic, right? If you have an idea of the topic, you will be able to do it very normally. All right, students. But if you don't have any idea about the topic, no matter what statement, what lines comes up, you will not be able to write a single line because you had no idea about that particular topic. So today's topic is demonetization. The first topic that I'm taking is demonetization. Now, the first thing is your introduction. How you will write the introduction means, because your topic is demonetization, the reader, whosoever will read your essay, should get in the first instinct that this topic, this essay is all about the particular policy, particular step taken by a government. Okay, so that's all. Let's start with it now. Executing ideas that haven't crossed your mind is an apt phrase for our Pradhan Mantri, or you can say Prime Minister Narendra Modi, whose out of the box ideas for the last 2 years leave people swooning and opposition fuming, but his who cares attitude when it comes to nation has garnered enormous support as well as acrimonious criticism at the same time. Yes, now, because this particular step of demonetization was taken by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, you have to specifically mention this thing in the introduction. Okay, you can begin your essay in another manner as well, that demonetization is a policy adopted by a lot of countries in the past, but it was implemented by Indian government recently. Actually, demonetization is the change in the currency. This is also you can write, but that is like you can say medium level introduction. But this particular introduction has good vocabulary, complex sentences, okay, and a clear idea that demonetization was a step which was initiated by the prime minister, and the name of the prime minister to definitely mention. So that's it. Okay, now, from Swachh Bharat Abhiyan to Make in India and then to Digital India, his ideas won both laurels and criticism. But suddenly, like a bolt from the blue, for many, demonetization appeared out of the blue. Yes, demonetization was something which was out of the blue, because when Prime Minister came, when the government came into existence, they were talking about Digital India, Make in India, but demonetization was something which actually was out of the blue, which was not in the mind of the citizens of the country. Okay, now your introduction is very solid. Now your introduction is telling you very clearly, student, that like this topic is all about the demonetization. Okay, you are getting a clear idea about demonetization, that this particular essay will revolve around this topic. Okay, now in the second body paragraph, or basically the first body paragraph, yeah, introduction is clear. Now it's the first body paragraph. Now your introduction is very solid. The reader got an idea from the introduction that it is a particular implementation of any law or any change in the city, in the like country, by the prime minister. And besides like other kind of things that he brought into India, like Digital India, Make in India, demonetization was something which was not predicted by a lot of people and was not even shared. It was out of the blue kind of thing. Okay, now in the first body paragraph, you will have to tell this particular step happened exactly when. Okay, you have to mention. Now, on November 18, 2016, Mr. Modi announced, here you can also replace it by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, or you can write Mr. Modi. Paraphrasing is very important in the essay writing, students. Like if you are using one word multiple times, I would recommend you not to repeat the words, because that will not give you marks. Okay, the more new words, the more synonyms you will use, the more vocabulary you will use, is the key to get the exact marks in an essay writing. Like for example, a lot of students, they write a particular word. For example, happy. Happy is a word. You write happy. Happy word is appearing in your letter, in your essay, or any kind of writing 10 times. And at those 10 places, you are using the same word happy, happy, and happy. So that is going to be monotonous. That is not going to show your skills of English grammar. Basically, the examiner is judging your ability, how well you are in writing English. Okay, how well you are acquainted with English. So a single particular word happy is not going to work. You can use happy at one place, two place, but third place you should write jubilant. You should write glad. You should write mesmerized. These are the synonyms of happy or happiness, but they are going to give a good impact to the examiner that the person who is writing an essay is very well familiar with English and has a good command over English. Okay. Now, on 8th November 2016, Mr. Modi announced on all national television that 500 and 1,000 currency notes would not be legal tenders from midnight. Like a thunderbolt, it struck many. From tax evading businessmen, evading means the person who just avoid tax paying, okay? And corrupt officers stashing money in their lockers, stashing money basically, you can say saving or collecting or accumulating money in their lockers, to terror funding organization causing bloodshed and massacre with the help of fake Indian currency and black money. Demonetization jolted the nation out of its slumber. Slumber means sleep. Okay. The demonetization jolted the nation out of its slumber after decades. Basically, demonetization happened at this particular time, and what was all news, you have to write it in the beginning, in the first body paragraph. Now, if you write this particular paragraph in the third body paragraph, it will be useless because this is something very important, right? Because you're talking about demonetization, you should start from the point it started. Okay, you have to keep in mind that demonetization. Now you have to keep in mind that demonetization started with this stage, with this point, with this category. Okay, so line wise we are going. In this particular paragraph, we are only discussing about the introduction of that point, that particular thing. Okay, and demonetization jolted the nation out of its slumber means like people were sleeping and suddenly they got, they got very astonished. Okay, now next paragraph, next body paragraph. Now your paragraph is completed over here. If you add anything else over here, it will not be important because your lines, your category which you are writing about, like detailed description about when this was announced or what exactly, what terror it brought out and into which category it brought out terror. So that is all covered in first paragraph. Now, if anything else you feel is to be covered here, you may write it. Like you can give more examples of the people that people got astonished, or you can mention the name of TV channels or the prominent news channels also telecasted this news and like this. Okay, but nothing more can be written over here because your talk is completed. Now you have to begin a new talk. Now what will be that new talk, students? In the first part, introduction, we told about this particular like Prime Minister's initiative. In the first body paragraph, we mentioned like when did it happen. Okay, now it's time to describe demonetization. All right, you have to describe what is demonetization, because consider the person who is reading this essay is knowing nothing. You have to go by basics. Okay, now, demonetization is the act of stripping a currency unit of its status as a legal tender. The Union Parliament has a sole power to make laws regarding currency, coinage, legal tender, and foreign exchange under entry 36 of first list of Schedule 7 of Constitution. Now, if you don't know this line, this Schedule 7 and etc., this is something related to law, then you may skip this line and it is not going to this is not going to affect your essay writing, because that is something, an extra information that you are providing. It's like cherry on the top of the cake. If you write it, it's well and good. If you don't remember any schedule number and you're not sure about it, for example, generally we are not good at remembering the numbers or the articles, so don't write wrong. I would recommend don't write any such information for which you're not sure about. Okay, because this essay writing or English grammar is not about your knowledge of laws, but they're studying your English, so don't go for that as well. Demonetization took place in India in 1976 as well as in 1978, when 10,000 rupees notes were demonetized along with 1,000 in 1954, along with 1,000 and 5,000 by Morarji Desai government in 1978. And this is the third time similar decision has been taken. Now you also have to mention that particularly demonetization happened for the first time or it happened earlier as well. Now, if you don't remember that earlier it happened in which year, by whom, and whatever, then also I would suggest that you can simply write a line that it's not the first time that demonetization happened, but it is the third time, because in the previous history also certain government and leaders took initiative to change the currency. If you know details, like what kind of notes were banned and something like that, then you can mention it. Okay, now again, the talk is completed, the paragraph is completed. Let's move ahead. The decision of demonetization was taken mainly because of three reasons. The first one was to tackle black money. Now, students, very, very clear it is. We are going line wise. Okay. The first, again, I'm telling you introduction. Okay, clear. First body paragraph, we cleared out the time when it happened and what all situation it created randomly. Then we are talking about what is demonetization. Now you should also mention in any of the body paragraphs that why did this happen. Of course, we should mention that why the government, like on what reason or what on what behalf the government took this action, right? So the decision of demonetization was taken mainly because of three reasons. Okay, some reasons you have to mention. The first one was to tackle black money. Yes, the first particular reason given by the government also was to tackle the black money. Okay. The second was to check corruption. The second was to check corruption and cash circulation. And the third was to stop terror funding. All right. Now, if these problems are considered in a grave manner as they really are, this move had in fact been due for a long time. In India, all sections have been accustomed to using cash for petty transactions and even high value transactions for a long time. This has resulted in a parallel economy. Okay, this has resulted in what? This has resulted in parallel economy and has caused inflation and grave problems. What kind of grave problems you should mention? Okay, here is the key, student. I'll tell you one tip over here. Now, because you have to increase your, you have to be in the word limit in your word count. Suppose the word count of your essay is 400 words or 300 words. How will you fill those word count? You are getting, you're going fine. You're going with the basic, but still you're short of certain words. You should fill your essays with good examples because examples are such kind of thing that you need not to focus a lot on your mind. At the same time, it will fill your word limit. Okay, so at any point, if you remember any examples, like for example, we're talking about grave problems, you should mention the problems. Don't put a full stop just after writing grave problem. You should give examples of certain kinds of grave problems. Grave means serious problems. Okay, inflation has sent the price of land and buildings skyrocketing. See here, they have used a word, good word, skyrocketing. Skyrocketing means increase in the price at a very high scale. Okay. And owning a house has become a distant dream for a common man. Okay. Now you have written in this paragraph the need for demonetization. Now it's time to talk about more about demonetization. This weapon of demonetization shall be used to fight against undisclosed income, which is converted into assets like gold and real estate. Basically, now in the leftover body paragraphs, you will be doing what? You will be elaborating these points of corruptions, of black money and terror funding, etc. So that's what that have been done in this essay. Just read out. Government officers have their palm greased and the money find its way to properties usually benami. Within days on his decision of demonetization, our Prime Minister, or you can write PM. I would suggest you should write Prime Minister completely. Don't try to avoid abbreviations and short forms in an essay. Prime Minister attacked Benami properties, means the properties which are unnamed or illegal. These properties are those that brought by people with black money on fictitious name. Fictitious name means the names which are not very clear, not real name, fake names you can say, or names of other people but enjoyed the black money holders. Under Benami Transaction Prohibition Act 2016, a transaction is termed Benami if a property is owned by one and paid by another, means that particular owner of the property is still unnamed or anonymous. The act prohibits recovery of the property held Benami from Benamidar by the real owner. Also, Benami properties are liable to be confiscated by the government. Now, another paragraph is demonetization. Now, you will talk about this particular like black money we have already talked about. Now, we'll talk about terror funding also. Now, demonetization has severely attacked terrorism too. where earlier the anti-national elements had a free run through India's security apparatuses. Now the absence of cash will hit all terror activities that thrive on black money and fake notes for their survival. Lack of Hawala transaction will hit activities of Maoist and insurgent groups too, as the stocked currency has become useless and the availability of new high value notes is not in abundance. Okay. Now, demonetization, though, has multifaceted positive effects on the health of the country. Now, students, we have covered the topics. Okay, we have covered the three reasons. Now, you should also mention that the positive and the negative effect of demonetization. Okay, because that's also a part of your essay. Because in demonetization, we're covering everything. Now, if for example, in your examination, you get only a topic like what are the pros and cons of what were the pros and cons of demonetization, then you need not to write the reasons for demonetization. You will introduce the demonetization, you will write about demonetization, and then you will jump to pros and cons, and finally conclusion. 5 paragraphs are more than enough. Okay. Now we'll talk about it. Demonetization, though, has multifaceted positive effects on the health of the country, yet it brought hardships in the life of the common man. Definitely, yes. You know, the demonetization was good for some, but at the same time, it was a hardship. It was a difficult situation for a common person. While black money holders and tax evaders are finding ways to make their black money white, a common man is still standing in the long queues, wasting thousands of productive hours, right? Because those black money holders, when they got to know the news of demonetization, because they were very prominent, very rich class, so they were now finding ways to convert their black money into white money. But unfortunately, the common man who never had black money, but because the currency changed, he was standing in the long queues of the banks. Even we were among those people who were standing outside the bank in the long queues to get our money changed, right? Besides this, now you will talk about some more positive and negative effect. Positive effect we have already discussed, students. The reasons for which the demonetization was done are their positive effect of demonetization. And now in this paragraph, we're discussing about the negative effects, right? So besides this, the black money stashed in terms of gold, properties, foreign assets, foreign currency, and in foreign banks are still out of purview. The large fishes are at large while the small fry has been trapped. Several laborers and hawkers have lost their livelihood as there was no cash to pay them. A daily wager committed suicide as he wasn't getting work, and a few old and feeble died while waiting for their turn in the queue. So these all things happened. And it was a darker side of demonetization basically, because larger fish, like, you know, a lot of people who had the black money were trapped, but not all of them trapped. But at the same time, what happened? A lot of laborers, they had to give up their lives. Okay. Some people who died while waiting in the queue. Okay. Now we have covered the positive effect, negative effect, introduction, types, reasons. Okay. And we covered the time when it was introduced. All we have covered, right, students? So now it's time. We should now talk about the conclusion part. Conclusion is very important. Okay. Conclusion is basically very important. No pain, no gain may be the right phrase to sum up this. Now, in conclusion part, you can write any kind of phrases. You can write any kind of idioms. In the like introduction, also you can write idioms or something like that. With a windfall of approximately 12 lakh crore back to the banks and people's support to his move of cleaning the system, Mr. Modi is ready to go ahead. Only time will tell us how this step has been taken by the history of India. Of course, the government is a spokesperson, and pro-demonetization economists constantly speak of intangible long-term benefit, such as a move to a cashless economy and widening the tax base, while the analysts are asking, did the achievement of this whole process manage the pain and disruption caused by monetization exercise? So students, basically, in the conclusion, you will put up a question that it's not very clear how demonetization actually have helped, because still we are confused, right? Nobody can give you a real idea that was demonetization actually worth, because even we still don't know how many people are still having the black money and how much black money was recovered. It's totally a, you know, a blank wall between the government and the citizens. So you can give a diplomatic conclusion over here because we are not clear with the idea. So at any kind of topic for which you don't have any clear conclusion, you can be diplomatic in ideas. You can say that whether it's done or not done, it's still a question mark. And let's see what's in the what's in the treasure ahead, and what will be the positive effect in the future of the demonetization. So this is how you can conclude your essay. Now, students, we will move to another type of essay, like another topic of the essay to be discussed in today's video. So here we are to the new essay, Make in India. Okay, so today I have taken up both the essays basically related to the current situation in India, like of course all the kind of initiatives which are taken by the government. So first we have already talked about demonetization. Make in India is another topic. We are discussing this topic because these are very commonly appearing topics in the examination, and the definitely when you're preparing for essay writing, especially for the competitive exam, you should be well versed with the common type of issues or common type of changes taking place in your country first. Okay, current situations are most important. Okay, so let's start with it now. Make in India. Childhood memories are engraved in our mind, heart, and soul. Some lines stay there forever, and one was made in India. See, such a very beautiful, a very beautiful introduction has been started with this. This is an attracting line, okay? Usually on most of our things, we had this line printed, and then came a time when we grew up. We then got colored in the cultures of malls and international brands, and then made in UK, made in USA, and certain international brands are superseded made in India. Right. See, the topic started in a very different manner, student. This is how you should begin your introduction, right? Okay. Made in India. Now to you, make in India or made in India is a very common tagline. Earlier, when we were as a child, a lot of products that we used to come across had this labeled printed made in India. But what happened in the future? With the growing modernization, what happened? That you should mention. That with the growing modernization or when we grew up, that particular tag of made in India was replaced at certain places. Or you can say the made in UK, made in America, made in China, made in Korea. Okay, these tags replaced made in India tags. Or you can say these tags superseded. Superseded means like it means that better than that, were considered better than that. Okay, superseded. The use today are flamboyant. See, a vocabulary word has been used over here, that is flamboyant. The youths today are flamboyant and like to show off the tags of international brands. The youth today are flamboyant means someone who is like, flaunting, show off kind of. Okay. So the youngsters of today are flamboyant and they like to show off the tags of international trades on their shirt, jeans and jackets and on every small thing they buy or use. Suddenly now what happened? What this Make in India concept is. Now, suddenly on 25th September 2014, the manufacturing sector of India was taken by storm when PM Narendra Modi launched the Make in India program. Now, our Prime Minister took an initiative to launch a program on a particular date. Definitely, this is an important date, student, that you have to remember because you're talking about this topic. So at least this date is important. That is what? That is actually 25th September. If you don't know the year, it's not a problem, but at least you should remember, or you can remember year as well, at 2014. Definitely, when you will prepare for an essay writing, and if you are coming up with these topics, writing of dates and years are important. That will show up a proper clarity and that will make your essay more logical. Okay. So you can write like this, that manufacturing sector of India was taken by storm when PM Narendra Modi launched Make in India program. Or you can write that on 25th September, Prime Minister Narendra Modi took an initiative to launch Make in India program. That's it, because these much lines are sufficient for first paragraph. And now you will talk about what is Make in India. Okay. The Make in India has not only its stance changed, but also the attitude. This initiative, Make in India, emphasizes to transform India into global manufacturing hub. It is a powerful galvanizing call to business leaders of the world to come and invest in India. This slogan is an inspiring call to all global business leaders by the government of India with a promise to facilitate the growth of companies they bring into India. Now, the logo of Make in India, now you have to also describe about this Make in India whole situation. The logo, definitely it's very important. You must have seen the logo of Make in India. Now, what is the Make in India logo? The logo of Make in India aligned with made of gear wheels, reflecting the government's vision of manufacturing India. This initiative is based on 4 pillars. Now see, this is important. This thing will only come up, students, when you will be a good reader and you will understand the things. Okay, you should know the particular pillars, love, reasons of this particular thing called Make in India. Okay, that the initiative was based on 4 pillars. The first one was new processes that would replace outdated policies, means new modernized things. That this was a part of Make in India program. Old long procedures and red tapeism and new infrastructure that will comprise of smart cities with a state of art technology, identification of new sector to attract FDI in them, and a new mindset where government won't be a regulator but rather a facilitator to woo global manufacturing giants to invest in India. Now, Make in India is the single largest manufacturing initiative undertaken by nation in recent history. It has been built by collaborative efforts. The Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion initiated this process by inviting participants from Union Ministry, secretaries, and various knowledge partners. Various sectors have been opened up for investment, and sectors like defense, railways, space have been opened for FDI. Okay, now you'll talk about the initiative to be successful. Make in India has to be a movement rather than an initiative to be successful in a policy-ridden country. It has to be beyond full-page colored advertisement. It must be informative and must inspire and infuse confidence in the business world, inspiring them to become potential partners of Indian business communities and reforms. Now you'll talk about, if you know in depth about Make in India, you can include everything over here in this paragraph. If you just know. If you don't know, don't write wrong information. You may talk more about Make in India in your own words with good vocabulary and explanation. That will fetch you marks. The wrong information will not fetch you marks. Okay. Today's India's credibility is stronger than ever. There is a visible enthusiasm, momentum, energy, and raring to go attitude in the business of the world. India has opened its investment doors, and world largest democracy is well on its way to become world's most powerful economy. So this is also a good conclusion, but this can be better. You can write some examples in the body paragraphs, and then you can relate those examples in the conclusion, like with the positive effect or positive outcomes of Make in India that we discussed in the prior paragraph are a good achievement of Make in India, and the future holds a lot of things. Our future holds a lot of things, and in future a lot of companies will invest in India, and India will soon be a global market. Okay, this is how you can like change, and you can just start up with some good conclusion. All right, student, let's move to the third essay. Their essay is also similar to an initiative only because today I've combined 3 similar type of essays and very commonly appearing essays in your examination. So now another topic is Digital India. Okay, we're going to talk about Digital India now in this particular essay. So this essay is also very important from examination point of view. Definitely, this is a current topic, as we have been discussing about various schemes which are launched by the government and for the betterment of the nation. So definitely it becomes an important topic of in essay writing. So that's why I've included this as today's topic as well. You might get the similar topic in an examination, like talk about Digital India, or they will give you any kind of topic revolving around this particular topic, that how did this Digital India concept started and how it was useful to the people, etc. So let's start with it now. Let's start with a good introduction part over here. I'm highlighting the whole part. A country that needs to be taught where to go for toilet, you can use the word washroom over here, wants to go digital. A sarcastic remark by many, and some call it Muhammad bin Tughlaq's idea. Now, this was a sarcastic comment made by somebody which turned out to be very popular sarcastic remark. Okay, so you may mention it, or if you don't want to mention it, you may avoid it. You can simply start writing about on a general basis that a lot of sarcastic comment has been made over India going digital. Okay, like this. Really, it need guts to talk about digital India in a country where more than 300 million Indians do not have electricity facility too. Mr. Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, you can mention, an astute administrator. Now, what's the meaning of an astute? Astute means a sharp or clever, somebody who thinks minutely, deeply. And seasoned leader on 1st July 2015 announced to go digital. A past master in statesmanship, Prime Minister Modi did not even bat an eyelid before announcing this initiative to connect people of rural and urban India. This initiative aims to make India a better governing place, facilitating Indians with electronic government services, reducing paperwork, improving work efficiency, and saving time. This ambitious project will transform India into a complete digital country with efficient and transparent e-governance. Now, this is called as a proper introduction to students, because here you talked about digital India not in detail, but in nutshell, you described about what you are going to talk in this essay. All right, we don't have to give extra information in introduction, because if you give extra information in introduction, you will be left with a limited information in body paragraph. However, your body paragraph should be filled with content, should be filled with a lot of information. Your introduction should be brief, to the point, including surrounding ideas. That's it. Okay, now you will talk about what is digital India. Basically, this is the point. Okay. Digital India is India digitally empowered knowledge economy with digital infrastructure and e-government providing services and information easily available online and integrating many departments for hassle-free e-governance. Of course, that's what is the digital India. It is that the government wants to make things hassle-free and at the same time connecting people through the network of internet. Digital India program aims at ensuring, now you have to tell it the aim. So you can conclude it in a single paragraph also, student, or you can split it into two paragraphs. Now you have to write the aim of the program, the motive behind doing this thing. You can write aim, motive, whatever is up to you. Digital India program aims at ensuring the broadband highways and universal access to mobile phones. It not only aims at e-governance but also ensures more IT jobs for general public. But this gigantic program needs digital infrastructure first. This program will be implemented in phases till 2019. Okay. Now, because we are writing the essay in 2021, so you need not to mention this line. You can replace this line by saying that this program has been implemented in phases and we have been working on it from 2019. You can describe like this. And will be monitored by Digital India Advisory Group. Okay, this will be monitored by Digital India Advisory Group. Now you will tell about the plans. What is the whole idea about Digital India and what all it will contain? Okay, because everything you should be including. Okay, student. The initiative includes plans to connect rural India with high-speed internet network. Under this visionary program, a two-way platform will be created where the service providers and consumers shall be benefited. It will be an inter-ministerial e-governance connecting services like public healthcare, education, etc. This department will act like an umbrella program covering several departments. Now, student, again, I'll tell you one hint over here. Like you are given the topic Digital India, all right? So, as I already discussed in your basic video, in the video of essay writing, basics explanation, I told you to jot down your ideas on a rough sheet. And this is what you will write on the rough sheet, that you will write first point introduction, you will write second point what is demonetization, You will write aim of demonetization. What else? Sorry, Digital India. Yeah, I just mistook it. Digital India. Yeah, okay. And then you will write, okay, what all it comprised of, definitely. Then you can write that what all services is it going to provide, what were the benefits of Digital India, how the India is going towards a success. These are should be your key points. And when you write the key points on a rough sheet, writing an essay becomes easier. You see the point, okay, explain it. See the point, explain it. This is how you write your essay writing. This highly ambitious program needs strong pillar, as the plinth of such huge program must be very strong. The first requirement is that all people of India, even the remotest village, must have universal access to mobile phone, high-speed internet. Definitely. How can India go to be digital? Until unless you provide with good electricity, with good internet connection, India can never go digital, right? So this is also very important. I'm excluding this part and you can read on your own. A wonderful thing about this project is that it may bring smile on the face of unemployed youths, because youth who has been educated in the field of technology was not getting its desired job, and now when India will go digital, the jobs for youngsters, the job for people who are educated but not getting desired job will get. IT sector's job will increase. All right. Now, if you are writing this essay in this particular year, so you can talk about past. That a wonderful thing about this project was that it brought smile on the face of unemployed youth. Okay. Okay, now beside this, every Indian citizen can avail himself of digital locker facility, like which will help him to store important document like PAN card, passport, mark sheet, degrees, etc. And the digital locker provide a dedicated personal storage space in the cloud to a citizen linked to Aadhaar number 2. Now, will this program remain an illusion or not? It the government will tell, because government has taken a joint leap forward to transform the country into digitally empowered economy. Hurdles have started obstructing the path of the program. So because still Digital India initiative by the government has not been completely fulfilled. Some obstructions are also coming, students. You should be aware about the obstruction, and those obstruction also you should write in your essays. Okay. To start up with, not a single telecom operator or industry house has signed up to partner the NOFN program. NOFN refers to National Optical Fiber Network. Okay. That is responsible to lay 7 lakh kilometers of optical fibers to connect the gram panchayats. Now we are going for more information over here. See, they are describing more information. Why? Because we have to cover the word limit, right? That's why we are going in elaborative manner. Now let's look into the conclusion, because that part is already completed. I think it's just nothing but you're talking about the obstructions in detail. Now it's the final part, which is the conclusion. Now, conclusion totally depends on your topic, students. If your topic is that, do you think Digital India has gone digitally forward or not? Support your opinions with example and give your conclusion. Then you will give your conclusion that whether it has achieved any level or not, how much has to be achieved. So like conclusion totally depends on your topic. As a general topic of Digital India, this is the conclusion. Digital India reflects out of the box thinking of the present government. The beauty of a natural digital platform is transparency, which does not hide anything, nor has the potential to hide. This digital world is going to be a part of our life in near future, and whether we like it or not, we will be forced to place ourselves in the flow of this digital river, slowly arriving at the digitally empowered India. Though some of us take this idea of Digital India with a pinch of salt. You can write that some people take it as a positive, some negative, but yes, whether positive or negative, it will be a part of our life by hook or by crook. You can write any kind of things, okay? So students, we have discussed ample content today. I know all the essays were linked to each other. They were all the government schemes, but these are very, very common type of questions in the examination, because we should cover all the current issues. Okay. Though these schemes are not the current issues, these are like a way to prior, but definitely we should also keep in mind, because now the examiner can ask you the, improvement of these schemes, like were these schemes worth or not. So if you don't have an idea about these schemes, you won't be able to write an essay on the present content. Okay. So in the coming classes, in the coming videos, we will be discussing more essays on another topics like technologies. We can discuss about pollution, environment, everything like that, that are very common in your examination. So just prepare yourself well for the exam. So that's it. Thank you, students.